Are you going to do Kirsty's Handmade Christmas again?
No. I know. Oh no, the show or the fair? Oh, the show, yes. Oh, you have no idea. Okay, so we started on Wednesday. We filmed in Kindred Studios in W9, which has got 170 makers and crafters and artists. And we did pop-up cards, and the pop-up cards was when the cold was just starting and had a roaring temperature, and I lost the ability to cut, do calligraphy. It was just an absolute car crash. Did anyone see the episode of the Christmas show where I was cutting the metal with the tiny little saw? Yeah. Disaster, absolute disaster, famously so. So last year we had a paper craft competition, and we had this lovely girl called Athena who made an actual working lock with cardboard. And actually she wasn't the winner of the competition because there were loads of brilliant people, but she came back to teach me to make pop-up cards, and it was car crash, but it was fun. And then we had another couple of ladies who were doing amazing homemade face cream and hand cream and scrub and everything. So that's the first things that we did on Wednesday. And then on the 2nd of October, I go to the Christmas headquarters and we film for 7 days. And that is going to turn into 15 shows. Wow. So there's going to be quite long days, yes. So 15 Christmas shows this year. So they'll be Monday to Friday for 3 weeks and a prime time show. So
wow.
Have you taken up any new crafts this year, and if so, what? And if you haven't, what would you like to try your hand at? I know it's 2 questions, sorry.
No. What? No, the answer is this has been very much a year of slightly feel, I can't believe it's September and I've been running to catch up. I tell you what would I have seen that I really would like to do more of? We had last year at the Christmas show, we had a lot of people who were doing needle felting, but needle felting pictures as opposed to needle felting, more 3D sculptural type things. A couple of people here at the fair who are doing them. I'd love to do a bit more of that, the combination of felting, old style felting and needle felting pictures. I think one of the things that I'd love to develop more of a skill for. There's something about that way in which it has that kind of, it reflects the water that's required, so there's a fluidity to the pictures and the way they work. So that's probably something that has stuck in my mind since last year that I'd like to do more of.
Hi. I'm disabled and unable to work in a sort of proper job. Crafting helps me get through really challenging times and gives me a sense of purpose. What tips have you got for turning a crafting hobby into a business?
Now, it's very interesting you should say that. Not the same, but disabling in a different way. I've spoken to 2 people today who are exhibitors here at the fair and who had long periods of anxiety and depression who have now got stands. And I've only been here half a day, and I've already had 2 of those conversations, so I suspect there are others. We have been talking about what we do next year and how we go on, because this is our 5th fair. Perhaps do something a little bit different next year. We wanted to have a kind of section on mindfulness and how crafts can impact people and help people in all sorts of situations. The difficulty is the word business, because the problem is that it's very, very difficult to make enough money to live off with any kind of crafting or making. When I was in this studio on Wednesday when we were filming the Christmas show, I bumped into 3 or 4 friends who work there, and we were all talking about it. They have these open days in the studio, and they're a great way in which people can sell their products, because people are coming in to see all sorts of people and they're not having to get a shop or a stand or pay rent. It's their studio that they have anyway, but obviously they have to pay rent for that studio. So the question was, how can I turn it into a business? And perhaps if the question was, how can I turn it into a way of paying for itself and giving me some money, then that is an easier question to answer. And I think, and it sounds really boring because I always give the same answer to this question and it's never really changed. While there are many aspects to social media, particularly for young people, that are very negative, social media has been incredible for the crafting industry because it does, sites like Folksy and Etsy, and the ability to sell online with very little cost implication is brilliant. The other thing is there are loads of organisations now, we have some of them here at the fair, who are groups of crafters and makers, you know, collaborative, so they do some of the marketing, they have the experience, they know how to get together, and I would certainly see if there's anyone in your local area that does anything like that, or if there's a group of people working together in one studio. That could, you know, it's about reducing your costs basically, so that you can afford to sell it and buy more of whatever the raw material is that you need. Not a great answer, but I think the important thing is that I can only ever answer questions with the experiences that I see, and I know that people really struggle, and I've always known that. We were talking about it earlier, we were having a meeting about next year's fair, and Freya, who works at the fair, was saying that she'd just done a pottery course and her pottery teacher struggles because she has to charge £20 for a mug. People have to know that is what it costs to make it, if barely that. You know, she probably should charge £30 for the mug. And that is the product. It's one of the things I want to do here is help people raise awareness of the value of the handmade product, because we're competing about all this stuff that's made in China and comes in on the ship.
But I'm just interested to know, what do you think is like a really good craft to get children started on? It's quite hard to find something that the 3-year-old and the 9-year-old might be able to go do.
I think it does depend on that. There's no point pretending there isn't a difference between boys and girls in these things. There really is. I mean, you know, you can't generalise. Lots of people have boys. I have one who's, my littlest one is quite neat and careful with everything and will sit down and do things very neatly. But the second, you know, his elder brother won't, and then you can get girls who are less neat and less careful about things and more inclined to blow things up. But in general, there is a difference. And I think that, I'm just stepping back because I had my back to all of you, and I think it is, you do have to frame it to whether, you know, to whether it's a boy or a girl. And also, I think that I found with my boys that they do quite like to make things to break things. And that's no bad thing, and that we have to be very careful not to, for a start, we have to embrace the mess and try and start with things that are outside things, and really steel ourselves against worrying about the neatness of it. I've just done the talk with Annie Sloan, and Annie's brilliant for that kind of sense of just go with it. So I think literally just, do you want to paint something? Is it, you know, here is an old piece of furniture, would you like to paint this? Is a really good start. And I think that is the thing, is that they need those fine motor skills. Aside from the importance and the mindfulness and everything, they really need, craft is the way to develop those fine motor skills. I think if you took away a needle and a thread from me, I wouldn't be particularly happy. So I think I often, when I'm asked about craft, I often say that I spend so much of my time repairing things. And for me, the number one thing is the ability to repair things and maintain those things that I've bought. So if I had to step back from doing anything, I'd say not necessarily a specific craft, but I couldn't bear the idea of not being able to alter things, mend things, repurpose things. All of that is very important to me. And I love the fact that you can look at something. I've got some napkins at home which are from an Eastern European duvet cover, which I bought in a shop, and they are now the most fantastic napkins. And I think that element of it is very important, is to be able to reuse things. There's a lovely lady I know who recycles cashmere, and I have a goddaughter, Daisy, and the jumper that I was wearing when she was born, and I wasn't actually there when she was born, but I was with her. Her mum rang me up and she said, I think I'm going into labour and I can't get William, and I don't know what to do, and I can't get hold of everyone come round. Anyway, I came round and sat with her, and her husband, who did eventually come home, has got a picture of me and my phone, which was something called a Palm Trio, and we were timing the contractions, and I've got this jumper on, and I found the jumper the other day and it had a huge moth hole. I sent it off to this really clever lady, and she sent it back, and it's got recycled silk panels in it, and I'm giving it to Daisy for her 16th birthday present. And I just think that thing of reusing things, that's the thing I've missed. I've had to suddenly stop. That's what I couldn't bear, is the fact that everything can have a second or third or fourth lease of life.